Hi there, my name is Wendy. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm really excited about today because it's Demonstrator Thursday. So if you are a demonstrator and you're interested in this video, awesome, stay put. But if you're not and you have no interest in these videos, that's totally fine. This is your opportunity to click off and go watch a crafty video. There won't be any crafting in this video. There's only going to be chatting about owning a Stampin' Up! Business. So if that interests you, stick around and maybe you'll want to join and become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator at some point. I should say, as a disclaimer, when you join Stampin' Up!, there is no requirement to actually be a demonstrator. So, meaning you're technically a demonstrator, but you can shop and get a discount as a hobbyist. You don't necessarily have to decide to do a business just to purchase the kit and enjoy the discount. So I just want to throw that out there. Okay, so let's hop into our subject matter today. Our subject matter today is how do you plan for a class and how do you budget your card kits? And this actually was a question that came to me. And she said, how do you break down the cost of a card kit? What do you do to make sure you're not basically giving away the farm or being too chintzy on your card kits? So we're going to go over that today because there's a lot of options and a lot of approaches, but we're going to do it on paper. So we're going to do it at my stamp desk because it's so much easier for me to write it out for you and for you to visually see what I'm talking about. There are a couple different approaches you can take. You can budget for your card kit first and say, okay, I don't want to spend more than $1.50 on this card kit. Or you can just create your card and then figure out how much it costs, and then that's the budget for your card kit. So you can do one or the other. For me personally, it's very difficult for me to say, I want to make a card that is a $1.25 card. I really struggle with that. I actually generally make the card first and then do the breakdown of how much that card costs. So we'll do both varieties and kind of figure it out, and this is going to be a long video, so settle in, get a cup of coffee, get a glass of iced tea. If it's in the evening, get a glass of wine, whatever suits your fancy, and settle in because we're going to go over some budgeting for card kits and stuff like that, and why it's important to know what you're charging for a class and how much it's costing you to design a kit and the variables that go into having those card kits, okay? So, or I should say budgeting for those card kits, because there's a lot of things you probably aren't thinking about. So let's dive in and start doing that. Go ahead and get your drink and meet me at my stamp table. We'll see you then. Okay, we are going to dive in to figuring out how much a card costs. I am going to have to very strategically look at my catalog off camera while we look at these because there are elements on here obviously that are brand new. So I'm going to need to look up the price of them. I don't have them memorized. So the very first thing that I would start out with is I've put here two card examples because let's get this out of the way. One has embellishments and one does not. So that is something to consider when you're designing your card kits, okay? The other thing to consider is how much time a card kit will take. So for example, if you are going to provide this card kit in a class or as a class to go, you would pre-cut this die. You can't stamp it, but you can pre-cut it and provide it in the kit. So how much time is it going to take to pre-cut a die like this for however many kits you need? Now, if you're just starting out and you don't think that you're going to get a whole bunch of customers at one time, maybe you only have a few, okay, then this might only take you a few minutes. But if you have been doing classes for a while and you've built up a really good customer base and you know you're going to need to make 30 or 40 kits, this could take you a long time. Now, some of you might ask, why would you pre-cut this? Why wouldn't you do it or why wouldn't you have them do it if they were coming and attending a class? My answer is simple: simplicity. If I'm teaching a class and I want it to go quickly and I want it to go smoothly and I don't want to have any problems, I pre-cut everything. The reason being is not everybody knows how to use a big shot. Not everybody knows how to use the dies, and it can get really overwhelming for people who are brand new to have a whole bunch of different stuff that they have to figure out and learn how to do. But if everything's pre-cut for them and all they have to do is layer things together, it's pretty simple. Now, the exception to that would be embossing, because I think embossing is a really fun, cool, and easy thing to do, and you really can't mess up a die or your big shot doing the embossing. So you might have a little tip sheet at your class that just shows them how to use the embossing folder if they're new, and then they can emboss, and that will save you a ton of time as well. So let's break down the elements on this card first, and I'm going to show you how I would break down the cost of this card. So we know, and we're going to base this on the new catalog prices, not the current catalog prices, okay? So these prices that I'm showing are effective June 3rd, because we are having a slight increase in our paper, which is normal. We occasionally have to raise the prices in paper, right? Now, I personally only use thick Whisper White cardstock. You can tell that these were used on my display board at on stage. I only use thick Whisper White cardstock. I don't like the regular cardstock. I don't care that it costs more. That's what I do. So I'm going to base this on, I can get 20, okay. So a pack of thick Whisper White cardstock comes with 24 sheets of paper. You cut that in half, that makes 48 cards. So I can get 48 cards, bases. So we're going to write this out. 48 card bases from one pack of thick Whisper White cardstock. That means each card base, we're going to do the math, costs me how much? So how do we figure that out? So we're going to go $8.25 for the pack of cardstock, times 0.10 for the shipping. So $8.25 plus 0.82 plus 0.775, so 70 cents. So 8.25 plus 0.82 plus 70, we'll just say 70 cents. Oh, good grief. Good grief. That's $9.77. That's before my 20% discount. So this is where some decisions have to be made. Are you wanting to come up with the cost of a card base retail or with your discount? I personally come up with it retail, as if they were having to purchase this product themselves, because it can get really complicated to add your discount in. The reason for that is because if you're getting volume rebates, you could actually be getting 38% off of your orders, not 25%, right? So if you add your volume rebate at the end of the month plus your instant income discount, it would be 38%. So I don't even get into all that. It gets too complicated. I keep it very straightforward. I keep it retail price, and then that's what I know it's costing me or them to purchase the card. So we're looking at $9.77, and then you divide that by 48 card bases. Divided by 48 equals 20 cents a card base. Okay. So now we know that every card base is costing us 20 cents. And then you just continue to work from there. So if you have a piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock here, I know that I can get 4 sheets of Coastal Cabana cardstock. This is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 Cabana. So how much is this going to cost me? I can get 4 sheets out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So let me go find the price of it. Coastal Cabana, $8.75. So then we got to do a little math. It comes with 24 sheets, right? Divide that by 4 means that, no, hold on guys. Let me think. See, it's a process, even for me. So if I get 24 sheets times 4 means I can get 96 of these pieces, okay, this Coastal Cabana piece here, out of 1 pack of cardstock. Then if I divide that by the cost, right, so we get 96 total. So we're going to go $8.75 plus 87 cents for shipping, plus we'll just do 74 cents, and then divide that by 96, 10 cents a sheet. Okay. You're going to just continue working down with each piece. So I can say that this piece now, I know I'll be able to get 4 of them out of 1 sheet of cardstock. And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? If you have a piece of cardstock like this, and you cut it in half this way, and you cut it in half this way, that's 4. So 1 sheet might cost 40 cents, but when you cut it into 4, it's 10 cents per piece. I know that this piece is also going to cost me 10 cents, okay? So we're going to keep working our way down with all of our different elements. You know, how many pieces of Coastal Cabana can you get? How many pieces of this crushed curry? How much for your DSP? So you kind of see how to do this piece, right? I don't want to really do it for every piece because we could be here all day. But essentially, you're going to have whatever elements you have, and you're going to break them down like that. The way you break them down is you go, okay, here's 1 sheet of cardstock, and I can get how many pieces out of that 1 sheet. This is your formula, okay? So you go 1 sheet, how many pieces out of 1 sheet? We'll say 4. Then I need to multiply that 4 pieces that I can get times the number of sheets in a pack, which is going to give you your total sheet or kit number count, which up here was 96, okay? Then you're going to divide that number by the total cost of the card pack. So if the total pack is what you need to figure out first. I should have said that. So whatever the cost of the total pack of paper is first. So we're going to go, you know, $9.77 was one of them. Okay, we know that that's what it costs us. Okay, then how many pieces? Okay, then we're going to go 4. How many pieces from 1 sheet? I can get 4. We're going to multiply that by the number of sheets in a pack. That gives us our total. Then we're going to take that total and divide it by this number up here. That is going to break down. Now, what about for embellishments? Embellishments can get a little bit more complicated because, for example, the felt embellishments, now this depends. Do you want to provide, I'm going to grab the box. Do you want to provide in the kit a different embellishment for each kit so that some people are going to end up with a flower, some with a heart, or do you want everyone to have the exact same heart? That means you'd have to buy multiples of this pack. Now, if it were me and I were having a class, I would work the cost of this little goodie box here into the price of my class, and I wouldn't even have to worry about how much it costs on my card because they would get it in this box. So that's an option also. Then the other thing we need to look at is labor. Okay, I have to have somebody help me cut kits and prep kits. I pay her, my sister, $14.50 per hour cash. So she is a consultant, and so she gets a 1099 from me at the end of the year or from my accountant. And I have to break down how long that takes her. So if it takes her 2 hours to make the kits for this card, that's $28.50. And then I have to divide that by however many cards she was able to finish. Okay. So those are all elements you have to think about when you're designing your card kits. This card kit would take her much longer than this card kit. Okay. Because if I was doing it the way I talked about, I would just be providing this whole box. She would only have to cut these elements. She would not have to die cut anything. Die cutting always takes longer. So those are the important things to think about when you are approaching a card kit and how it works. Breaking down the cost of labor is the same as breaking down these other costs. You basically say, okay, she made 42 of these. Let's just say she made 42 card kits and it took her 2 hours. Okay, so $28.50 no, that's not right. Sorry. $29 would be her fee for 42 card kits. So I'm going to divide that by 42. That means each card costs $69 for me to have her kit and package. The other thing we haven't included here is the cellophane bags that I use for my card kits. So my card kits come in cello bags like this, and everything's pre-cut and pre-punched and ready to go. But the cellophane bags cost money, so you have to figure that into the price of your card kit. Essentially anything that requires use with the card kit, I factor into the cost of the card kit. So that's kind of how you can figure out if you are over budgeting or under budgeting on your cards and giving your customers the best value for their money, or are you giving them too much value and it's causing you to run short. One of the things that's coming up that I'm going to start having my sister do, which she's just going to love, is keeping billable hours. Billable hours just basically means that she will write down, like if she works on my May punch art class to go that I released yesterday, if she's working on that, I want her to track how many hours she's spending working on that. I'm trying to dial in and figure out how much time it takes to actually develop kits. And that's just something I'm doing for my own personal business. And I will obviously share it with you guys as soon as I have numbers and I can share something with you that makes sense. But anything that's in a process, I just don't tend to share until I know for sure that it works. The other thing I wanted to tell you is I've been getting a lot of questions about the end of the month summary in your business budget workbook. The end of the month summary worksheet is at the very end of your file when you download it. So if you have the business budget workbook and you haven't been able to find that sheet, it's because you haven't scrolled all the way to the end of your PDF file. That's where it's at. So FYI on that. Also, if you have not purchased my business budget workbook, I would love for you to do so. The link is in the description below the video. I do a video like this every Thursday to help out demonstrators, and I hope that today's video helped you out in learning how to break down the cost of a card kit. There's so much more we could go into, but time is always an issue, right? So I hope this helped. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below the video. And I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.